How you doing? Huh? Okay guys, for this recipe, what you're going to need is noodles of your choosing, whichever flavor, davor you desire. I'm going to be adding these also because I like the cheesy effect they add. Now, for your meat, I'm opting for these, and I'm going to cook these and then slice them thin along with these pepperonis. For my cheeses, I will be topping and baking with this and also this. Now, to create my sauce, you'll need 1 fresh onion and some garlic. Also, you know, some tomato. This is my, you know, just my base. And then I add to it, and that's what I'm going to be adding. And for a little bit of heat, and then of course some fresh vegetable or fresh seasonings from the herb garden. So the fresh herbs I'm going to be adding from the garden is my basil, some Italian oregano, a bit of rosemary, and some cilantro. Now finely chop your fresh herbs and garlic and put them into a pan. Okay, now in that same pan, combine your finely diced onions with your fresh herbs and garlic. Once you've done that, drain a can of these diced tomatoes with green chilies, and be very exact about your measurements on this because otherwise you'll make this dish too hot. So I just use about half a can because otherwise, unless you like things really hot, which I don't like things really hot, so we're gonna add, there's 1, there's 2, 3, and a part. That gives us about half of the can. Okay guys, if you like it a little hotter, add a little bit more, but this is the base of our sauce. Okay, so in that same pan, we are going to simmer this down a little bit with a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. So I've already pretty much added what I need there, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this on to a medium heat. So right about there, and we'll get this to simmering. Okay, we're starting to simmer that down now, as you can see. And we'll just keep that going until that's reduced down a little bit more. In another pan, we're starting our meat here. We're going to start this on a very low heat, and we're going to let this cook completely and then cut it into sections. In another pan, we are going to start on a boil our hot water for our noodles. We'll be cooking these guys first and then adding some extra pasta noodles to it to help make the meal go a little bit further. Okay, now that we have reduced this down enough, as you can see, now you can add more Italian seasoning in here if you like, more oregano or whatever to your taste. Now it's time to just add the unseasoned tomato sauce. And all that is just pure tomato sauce, guys. Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead and let that stew. Alright, as you can see, that has come to a slow simmer there. So now we're going to go ahead and add our pre-made sauce to this. while I slop it everywhere with one hand. And we'll continue now with the sauce simmering on the back, the meat cooking over here, and the water at a boil. It's now time to go ahead and add our noodles. So let's do that. All right, with our noodles now added to the pan, we are going to let these boil for 15 minutes. And actually, before we get to the full 15 minutes, we're going to go ahead and add the other noodles at 8 minutes. That way they can both hit the exact same finish point at the same time. So okay, guys, these have actually already, as you can see, just about doubled in size. We'll give them a few more minutes before I add the other noodles, and then we'll add the other noodles and cook them to a finish. Okay guys, we are at the 8 minutes, so now we're going to go ahead and add our other noodles. And we will go ahead and set the timer for another 15 minutes. Okay guys, as you can see, our sausage is starting to come along nicely. There's about a 1/4 cup of water in there just to help those cook nice and slowly. Our sauce is on a very, very low simmer back there, and now we're just waiting for our noodles to finish on that 15-minute timer. And then we will start to combine. So now the noodles are cooked and drained, and we're going to put them back into a pot of water just so that they stay moist and don't dry out. All right, as you can see, our sausage has now cooked, so it's now time to remove it from the cooking surface and dice it up. You can see here that our meat is fully cooked. So I just like to dice mine up into kind of bite-sized pieces. Not great big pieces, but about like that. So that's what we're going to finish doing. Okay, as you can see, we have that completely all chopped up now. So the noodles are baked, the sauce is cooked, so we're ready to do some combining now. For this phase, now all we do is take and line the bottom of our casserole dish here. Casserole pan, whatever you want to use to do the baking part of this dish. And we go ahead and we line that with sauce. Now we add in our layer of noodles. And these are in a strainer and they have been re-drained. Just was trying to keep them moist so that they wouldn't dry out while I was waiting for the meat to cook. So we're just gonna line this pan like so till we get a pretty good layer. Almost like you're building a lasagna, guys. Kind of the same kind of a concept, okay? Now for some meat. So we're gonna take our plate of meat and I'm just gonna scatter a few pieces here and there. Just like that. Now for some pepperoni. Okay, so now we're just going to layer on some pepperonis. No particular fashion, just where you like. Just like that. Now to add more sauce. And again with the noodles. Again with a layer of meat. That was a big chunk there. Just like that, and more sauce. Okay, so there is all of the layers of the noodles, meat, and sauce. So now we're going to top it with our cheese. The first cheese that I like to sprinkle on is a little bit of this grated Parmesan and Romano. So there's a light layer of the Parmigiano Romano. Next, I like to add a bit of provolone. So I will be slicing these up, just ripping them with my hands and placing that on this dish. Okay, now that I have my Parmesan on there and the provolone, now we're going to add our mozzarella. Okay, so this is the Italian blend finely shredded cheese that I will be using on top. It's mainly mozzarella. It does have some provolone and some other Asiago. So I just sprinkle some of that over the top. I love cheese, and cheese really adds to this dish. All right, now this dish is ready for baking. We're going to be starting our oven at 350. Once it's preheated, we'll stick it inside the oven. Okay, she's in the oven now to bake for 20 minutes. Getting ready to make a garlic butter for our French bread so we can have garlic bread with our pasta dinner. This is a very simple recipe. All you're going to need is 2 sticks of butter. Doesn't matter whether it's salted or unsalted. I like to buy the pre-minced garlic. We'll be adding some chives, some onion powder, and some Italian seasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and moisten this up and then add here. I've added about 1 teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to be adding some chives. Some chives to taste, some onion powder, and this is just to taste, guys, however you like it, however you prefer it, and some oregano. Okay, and here's our now all mixed together ingredients. First to top our lovely French bread with. All right, now we've got our garlic butter mix on top of our French bread. Now let's put some cheese and a little bit of paprika. So now we have our cheese blend on there. So now let's just add a bit of paprika here. There we go. There's our paprika. Let's bake this. All right, our garlic bread is in our toaster oven at 350 on convection. Here it is, and it's finished glory. Let's plate it up. Here's the finished garlic bread. So David's going to be sampling this dish and giving us his honest opinion, his critique of my culinary skills.
That's good.
You like it?
Mm-hmm. It's juicy. Great flavor. Did a good job.
Thank you. Try your garlic bread. I want to know what you think of that homemade garlic butter.
Mmm.
Yeah?
Goes good with it.
Bitch, you guessed it.
Perfect?
Oh yeah.
You was right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Bon appetit. Woo! Hot up in here.